Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna go where people know the people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they can send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. Get off his fucking neck. That makes you know he can't fucking breathe. That makes you know we are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more.
Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, you're tuned into the only podcast that spent the last 7 years paying the cost to be the boss. Welcome, everybody, children of all ages, to the Am No Joe podcast. Today, as like most days, I have got a glorious panel here with me to get into all the shit talking and shenanigan, the fight announcements and fuckery, all the relevant fun that has trickled out the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful folks last. Before we get into all that, though, first and foremost, gentlemen, how you doing over there?
Happy fucking Thursday. It's gonna be a brutally sad day on fucking Saturday, regardless of how the main event turns out.
Yeah, end of an era for sure.
Yeah. It's always sad to see the icons leave, but eventually everybody's got to take that final step.
Yeah, Father Time wins every match eventually,
Yep. Way to go out on your own terms, Diamond.
for sure.
Yeah, I totally feel the same. I saw those posts today of Dustin reading those letters that he got from his coaches and Theo Vaughn and shit. Already bringing a tear to my eye. It's gonna be an emotional weekend, but it's gonna be a hell of a fight. In all honesty, I'm leaning towards Max. That's the thing that makes it even more of an emotional experience, But at least they're doing him right. Fucking Lil Wayne's gonna be walking him out. It's gonna be
And
a hell
wrapping
of
the
a
belt.
fucking.
And wrapping the belt. Did you hear that? They agreed today. Both of them agreed this afternoon. Little Wayne's going to wrap the BMF belt around the winner, regardless of who it is.
Oh fuck yeah! So see, they're
I'd way
finally
rather
doing
see
something
that.
fun for once.
Yeah, I'd way rather see fucking Wayne climb in that octagon and put the belt around the winner than The Rock, for fuck's sake.
That's the best that we can hope is they do him a full justice. Don't do what WWE did to Goldberg last weekend.
Right.
Uh,
Fucking bullshit. I'm not even a fucking wrestling fan no more. I thought that was some bullshit. Give the man his fucking speech.
so I will be crying a bit, but hopefully it'll be one hell of a fucking fight, and we'll have something to be happy about at the same time. It's gonna be a good time.
Good week and ready for some good fights.
Fuck yeah. Well, that being said, we will kick things off around here the way that we like to, with a little bit of news and recent events. We were talking about it in the pre-show. This might be one of the calmest fucking weeks in terms of MMA news stories we have had all year. And there's been a couple things happen this week, but overall, this is the smallest news segment I have had in 2025 so far. Excuse me. There are a few odd, is what we'll call them, incidents that happened this week. We're not going to go over those on the show. If you'd like to read about those, the links to those stories are over on the I'm No Joe Discord server, link down in the description. Whether you're listening or watching, you can go check those stories out on your own. The ones that I've got here are the ones that I feel are the most relevant for this action-packed weekend we have got coming up here. So first and foremost, if you didn't know already, the combat sports menu for the weekend is now its own separate video. It goes up as a short here on the I'm No Joe channel. If you click on the YouTube channel for I'm No Joe, there's a little tab that says shorts. It is usually the first one up there on Thursday, so that way you know everything that is going on. And because this week has been absolutely fucking insane, I missed something on that, so I'm going to give it to you here right now because everyone should be fucking aware about this. Tomorrow night, Karate Combat is doing a one-night heavyweight Grand Prix tournament. Robelis Despania and Alan Belcher are both in the one-night tournament. There's some big, heavy-hitting motherfuckers who are going to climb into that pit of doom tomorrow night and try and take each other's fucking skulls apart. I can't believe I forgot to mention it on the combat sports menu, so I wanted to make a point to tell everybody here, because whether you watch Karate Combat or not, tomorrow night will be the night that you might want to give it a fucking glance, because there's going to be some fun going down, I'm telling you now. That being said, October 11th, the return of the UFC to Rio de Janeiro, back to the base. Got an interesting fight added to it here. Coming fresh off of that weird fucking matchup, Yonata Diniz is climbing back into the cage to take on Mario Pinto back down in Brazil. That one should be a very interesting heavyweight fight. I don't think that one will go walrus, so that could be very interesting. The other side of the big boys got the announcement for UFC 321, which has officially been dubbed now UFC Abu Dhabi's pay-per-view night on October 25th. Got its first official match added to the card. The number one contender match officially, Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida, going down in Abu Dhabi to determine who's going to step in front of Tom next. Could be very, very fun, but that is all the news that we have got this week. Unless you gentlemen have anything that I might have missed, that's the news. Well, that being said, This is a pay-per-view week, so you know that means come Saturday, that gentleman, wait, he's over there, that gentleman right there, and I will be back here an hour before the prelims kick off to get you hyped for everything UFC 318 for our pregame show. But that also means that gentleman is here because we have got ourselves a casual corner situation. We have got a pay-per-view with a damn good co-main and main event here, and we have got to see what our favorite casual has to say about it. So, are you ready over there, Flintlock?
Yeah, let's see it.
All righty. So, in our co-main event leading up to the last dance, we have got a match that if I'm not mistaken, has been booked 4 times now and is actually set to go down in New Orleans. Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. How do you think that one shakes out?
I'm gonna say Kopylov.
Definitely understand that
Maybe
as well.
third round. Not sure exactly what it's gonna do, or what's gonna happen, but probably third round.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. So that brings us to the main event, the last dance of the diamond. Max Holloway coming into the retirement fight against Dustin Poirier for his last dance. Who do you think walks out that one with that BMF strap at the end of the night?
I hope with every fiber of my being he leaves him crushed in a pile of diamond dust in the middle of that ring. Please, please. Come on,
Blessed
Max.
Express rolls, baby. The Blessed Express rolls. So there's a damn good chance. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. Always appreciate your input on that. That will bring us to the point where if you've been watching combat sports as long as some of us have been watching combat sports, you start to know what you like to watch, when it comes on, how to watch it, and you start to develop a set of metaphorical blinders. You start to lose the forest for the trees, if you will, here. Luckily on the show, we've got ourselves a bona fide young person who's out there ever so diligently, ever so delicately, just fingering the pulse of the MMA world to help keep us abreast of all the names that are going to be names before they are names in a little segment that we call Slows, Cans, and Contenders.
Appreciate you, brother. So, start off with the fucking trash. For a pay-per-view card, there's a good little bit of it. This is the best pay-per-view that we've ever had, but they're doing Dustin a justice. That's the biggest reason this card was built. Span and Bresky, man. These two dudes, both of them probably shouldn't be in the UFC anymore at this point. I guess that's why they're fighting each other, but still kind of doesn't make any sense. Only one of them is probably going to get walking papers. I lean towards Span getting this win, but I don't think it's going to be worth a damn on the watch side of things. I've also got Jimmy Crute and Marcin Prachnio going in the trash as well. I feel the same about that fight. I think Jimmy Crute gets the win on it, but I don't think the fight's going to be worth a damn to watch. And Jimmy Crute also loves to, for whatever reason, fall off in the fights and let motherfuckers come back, pull out draws or some weird ass bullshit. A lot of his fights just literally go to weird fucking decisions. I expect it to be a fucked up and weird fight. You got Rob Valentine. I'm gonna throw that dude in there. I think he's getting served up on a silver platter. He's lamb for slaughter this weekend. The dude's a wrestler predominantly and has been losing fights, getting knocked out by Ryan Loder, who's a wrestler, and then losing to Torres Finney, who's a wrestler, but he's not a good one at all by any means. It's not look good for Valentine. I mean, he's fighting Gautier this weekend. He's on the other end of things. I'll talk about a little bit more in a second. Paulo Costa, I'm throwing him in the can, man. That's why they're serving him up to Kopylov and Meter mentioned they've like booked this fight about 4 fucking times. The ridiculous part is it's the co-main event. In my eyes, co-main event this weekend is Dan Ige and Patricio Pitbull. That's people's fucking main event. That's me. That's the true co-main. I don't know what in the fucking hell UFC matchmaking is doing with these cards. Not just in general of not giving us good cards, but like, can you at least set it up in a decent fucking way and give us the good fights on the main card? No, they can't. They really fuck that up a lot. This is one of those examples. I think Paulo's going to get his ass beat. He's inactive as shit. The dude is big. He may have some decent looks about him, but he hasn't looked great. The best fight he's had is against Luke Rockhold in the past few years. That's not saying shit. I'm leaning towards Kopylov in this one. Kopylov's more my contender, though. I feel like Kopylov can get himself up into the rankings and whatnot, but he's also already had that opportunity. So this is as far as I can give him. I can't really sit here and say he's got a true shot of being a contender because he's already had that shot. Fluffy whooped his ass. He's getting a second chance at it here, but only means so much because then you get to the top 15 guys and how's he going to look after? So we're just keeping Kopylov on the fence here. I got Francisco Prado on the fence too. This kid's just, in my opinion, kind of green. He's fought somewhat decent competition since he's come in the UFC, 1 and 2 now. He's 23 years old. So, I mean, even if it doesn't work out here now, you come back in the future. But at this point, you could also still bounce back and build up. Maybe the UFC is giving him a little more leeway because of him being a younger kid. He's on the fence, though. We're excited with him coming into the UFC. He hasn't looked the greatest. Been able to pull some wins out of his ass. You obviously got Pitbull. I mean, this is the shit or get off the pot moment. I got to put him in the contender spot because he could still be a contender. That's kind of why they brought him in. And then they fed him Yair in his first match, and he shat the bed with. And they're still giving him a good fucking opportunity here. Giving him Dan Ige, who's the literal like gatekeeper of the featherweight division. But at the same time, the dude is the doggest dog in the featherweight division. Fought Diego Lopez the other year on 3 hours fucking notice. The man's got the nickname 50K for a goddamn reason. And I think we're going to see him get 50K this weekend, whether this is fight of the night or he's getting that motherfucking knockout. I'm really high on Dan. I like this fight as a whole. To me, it's one of my contender fights. That's why I'm ranking it as my fucking co-main event. It's the only other fight on the main card I fully give a fuck about, aside from the main event. I'm excited to see how this fight, because I think Dan's going to put a fucking ass whooping on his ass with how he looked against Yair. But at the same time, I'm interested to see Pitbull can pull it out of his ass or if he really is just washed, because it has been very disappointing being a fight fan, seeing how all these dudes from the PFL and Bellator have done. I genuinely thought some of them would do okay coming into the UFC. And MVP's been mediocre. Michael Chandler's been a complete bag of ass. Even though he's a Missouri guy and I love to try to root for him. It's hard now. And we're still waiting on Pico and Horiguchi. I think those ones might pan out for us. We're getting fucked here, by the MMA gods with those two. Horiguchi got injured. Motherfucking Evloev's being Evloev. Fucking more pullouts than the dudes had fights in the UFC at this point.
I was going to say, for the record, when Evloev announced this week that he got hurt, that officially means that he now has more pullouts than he
Yep.
has fights in his tenure in the fucking UFC. That's bullshit, man. That's fucking bullshit.
Same as Manel Cop, brother. Hey, motherfucker ain't no different. Ain't no surprise why the UFC ain't trying to give that dude a title shot. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he's undefeated. Doesn't matter if he's 9-0 in the UFC. It's 9 motherfucking boring ass decisions. He's only really fought 3 good guys at this point in the featherweight division. He almost lost to Diego in Diego's debut. There's a lot of fucking things you can. He almost lost to Aljamain Sterling in his last fight. There's so many things you can point out about this dude. So we're excited for Pico, but still, Pitbull, you're on the motherfucking fence. This shit get off the pot moment and get your ass whooped here, fully in the can. And he was never meant to be in the UFC. Maybe if he was in his prime, he would, maybe. But it really looks bad, right? So that's what I got on the contender side of things. The actual contenders to look forward to. Kevin Holland at this point, man. He's been taking shit more serious. He's been staying at welterweight. This is already his 3rd fight this year. He's been looking pretty good. The weird thing is he's fighting a dude like Daniel Rodriguez instead of fighting somebody ranked. But then again, on media day, he also mentioned they seriously actually looked into trying to get him to fight Colby. And bitch ass said no. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? But at the same time, there's other options up there in the rankings at this point. We got those young kids like Prates and Michael Morales and just hungry motherfuckers working their way up that Holland can build off of. He could be the gatekeeper for a minute. He's just that. Keep doing that. Take shit serious. Keep stacking the wins together. And I'd like to see his ass make a real run at it. Because if we think about it, he, out of Jack Della Madalena's run in the UFC, he really gave him one of the toughest fights that kid has had. And he's the champion right now. Kevin Holland has always had good skills. He just never takes shit serious enough. So he could be a contender for you guys. But at this point, I think he's taking it more serious. And he's been so active this year, talking about he still wants to get a couple more fights in this year. He's got a serious chance to make himself a true contender by the end of the year, especially if he gets those fights. Islam Dulatov. I think it's weird that the UFC felt the need to post that this kid used to be a Versace model. Like on the actual page, they posted that he used to be a Versace model, and now he's getting in the UFC after his knockout finish on the Contender Series. It was a weird way to promote the kid. Like, yeah, he's not a bad-looking kid, but that's not how I'm trying to promote him. I was excited as hell to see that kid just smoke the dude he was fucking fighting last year on the Contender Series. He was one of the true ones. I was like, okay, yeah, he deserved a contract. He deserves a shot. I'm excited to see what he does. But it took a minute for him to get his debut here as well.
Did they already forget about what happened with Luke Rockhold? Models don't do well in the fucking UFC. Ask Alan Joban. They've got track records. We've got history to show. There's a precedent set here. Fucking models don't.
That's why I didn't like the promotion there. It's a weird bit of promotion. It's like, yeah, the kid did it, and like I said, he's not bad looking, but maybe he isn't like that. But it gives that perception, right? You're automatically giving him a horrible perception. The kid's a fucking model. He's just gonna get pieced up. As soon as he gets hit, it'll be like Bo. He'll just crumble. The model's not going to fucking be able to handle the fight. Didn't like that. But I am excited to see it. He really looked good on the Contender Series. The kid's got some serious knockout power. And then he's fighting Adam Fuggin. I know you really pronounce it Fugit, but I love calling him Adam Fuggin. He's a journeyman fighter, and I feel like they're serving him up for Dulatov. You got Gautier. Atiba Gautier, he's the same situation. Another young kid, 23 years old. He's pretty damn green in the sport, and that's the only thing we could see, right? takedown defense may be non-existent. Ground game may be non-existent. We haven't really seen it yet. They're throwing him a wrestler. Valentin, even though he's been losing to crappy wrestlers, that's going to be his approach in that fight. But I think Gautier handles it. He goes out there and gets himself another nice little finish. And we'll continue to keep our eye on that kid in the future. I'm excited for the Ferreira and McVeigh fight. I think Jackson McVeigh, kid from Missouri here, we always root for the Missouri guys. Me and Meter, always big time, try to root for all of them. Kid's won every fight by finish. He's already fought in the LFA. He also fought on the local Shamrock FC promotion here in Missouri. But all 6 wins by finish. This is a tough fucking fight. Ferreira's already had 6 fights in the UFC. He's been a little back and forth, but the dude's shown he can get some finishes. He's got some knockout power, and this is going to be a tough one. McVeigh gets that win, though, immediately launches him. That's huge, because this is what, just a couple weeks after he was supposed to fucking fight. He was scheduled to fight a dude, comes in trying to make his debut as well, weighs in like 10 pounds overweight. So then they throw him this bone. Like, it's a great opportunity for the kid. I think the fight as a whole is one of the ones I'm more excited to see how it shakes out. But McVeigh totally becomes a contender if he gets that win. I'm excited for the Vinicius Oliveira and Kyler Phillips fight. I think whichever one of those comes out on top is the one that shows they might have a chance to truly hang with the top 15. Oliveira getting that win over Ricky Simone, it was definitely a close fight. Definitely could have swung the other way. A lot of people thought Ricky had it. The kid still has looked decent. Being really young and hanging with Ricky still impressed me, even though it was a close fight, could have gone the other way easily. I think the kid's got to do more, especially in this one, because I don't think Kyler can hang with him on the feet. But if Kyler can get his wrestling going and shit, then it's possibly going to be rough. We haven't seen Oliveira's ground game the same way, so we'll see how it shakes out. I'm excited to see how the fight works. And then you got the co-main event. In my eyes, Ige versus fucking Pitbull. The real co-main event, I guess you could say Kopylov, but like I said, he's a contender for me. Costa's in the can. This is the fight I'm real excited about, other than the main event. I think 50K Ige is going to put on a show. This is Pitbull shit or get off the pot moment. Like I mentioned, fucking main event is obviously what we're all coming for. They're taking it to New Orleans for a reason. I hate it and I love it at the same time. I've been thinking about it all week. Sorry, the mixed emotions. I've already fucking had some of those tears welling up in my eyes with seeing those fucking videos and him reading the letters. And just any of it. As we get closer to the fight, and he's been, enjoying the moment, but also feeling the moment and showing some of that vulnerable side. Like, that was a great bit, right? Like, for him to start showing some of that emotion and him try to catch himself, and he's like, I ain't no punk. Like, I just loved that shit. That's why you love dudes like Dustin Poirier or any of the fighters that become the fan favorites, the Hall of Famers. The dudes will never forget. I'm only fucking 29 myself, so I've been watching them since I was a literal kid. Shit, it was just when I was like breaking into barely drinking. And he just whooped Connor's ass a handful of years ago. That's when I really got solid back into fighting again, was when that Connor and his pay-per-views got UFC 264, I think it was, right? And Connor broke his fucking leg in that fight. Literally ever since that pay-per-view, especially because of how crazy that ending was, Me and Vinny haven't missed a fucking fight night, let alone a pay-per-view. It's been fun to get back in it, and then also getting back into this with you guys. It's going to be a hell of a fucking moment this weekend. It'll be fun as hell to get to experience that with Vinny, getting to watch Fights Solid for years again. And it'll be fun as hell to get to experience it with you boys too. I lean towards Max in this. Like, obviously, you would always love to see the guy kind of ride out on his shield. Like, it'd be so badass for in New Orleans. He's gonna get Lil Wayne to walk him out. It's for the BMF belt, even though that doesn't mean much of shit. It would mean a lot for Dustin in that sense to like put another belt around his waist and then be able to say that, like, I'm the baddest motherfucker, the last to ever be, right? Like, I'm not gonna do what Jorge's bitch ass did and let somebody else fight for this shit. Now I'm gonna be a petty motherfucker. I'm keeping this. I'm always gonna be the bad motherfucker. That'd be great. And then Wayne put the belt around his waist, like Major said. Oh, that'd be great. But I still think Max is quicker fighter, like TJ mentioned earlier on. Max and Dustin went to war in that second fight. It was real close. Could have been scored the other way. And Max is hungry. Like, Dustin's getting his moment, man. Like, the sport just doesn't do that for us. I hope we don't see like what we've seen before. That's the biggest thing. What Mr. Flintlock was saying. I'm sure Max is going to win. I just don't need to see what Max did to Justin last year.
Emotional
We don't need to
damage.
see that. Let's get a 5-round, 25-minute badass fight between these two. Dustin giving everything he's got, and it just kind of show he can still hang with all these dudes that are badasses, but you know, he lost the title fight to Islam for a reason and shit like that. He's always been this badass fighter, but he's just never been that, you know, he's never been able to get over that hump kind of thing. And Max is still going to stick around, and he wants another fucking belt. Poirier's ass has the belt now. That was the dude. He just lost it. Like, it's just, you know, as a fighter, their ego, everything. I just feel like Max has the different hunger. It's not a good thing when a fighter really puts it out there either. Like, that, hey, I'm done. This is going to be it for me. It just never goes good for him. Anytime we've seen him do it, most of the time they end up fucking asleep on the canvas, and we're fucking feeling like shit, especially when it's one of our favorites. Seen it too many times. We saw it with Frankie Edgar just a fucking couple years ago. Dustin's at that point. He's at least trying to get out before it's too late. But I mean, this one might be too late, right? Because that can so easily happen. Max is who Max is. To me, that's the best fucking outcome. Win or lose, let's just get through his 25 minutes, have a badass fight. Hopefully, the fight of the year. Both those dudes be healthy enough to make it the fuck home to their families and us not have to see them, you know, get laid out kind of shit. They're heroes in the sport. Both of them. Both of them are already Hall of Famers. Let's have this be like a great fucking game of football. All of us be happy at the end of the day, the best we can be, and everybody go home healthy. That's how I look at it. Like to see what you boys got to say. I'm sure you agree with most of it. There's a good bit of trash, but there is some shining diamonds that we get this weekend, if you know what I'm saying.
Definitely not the pay-per-view card that I would suggest buying directly. This is one I would say group buy, like get 70 of your friends together to watch it in the same house. See, you all pay $1, right? Or maybe you need 80 friends, because I'm thinking probably closer to $80. And, you know, if that's not the case and you can't manage that, take your ass to Buffalo Wild Wings. Go get a good meal while you watch it. Don't show up until it's like fucking midway through the prelims, because then you'll still get a good seat. You'll pay their whatever cover charge to watch there. Totally worth it. And if that's still too expensive for you, you can shoot a Habib a message and find out about Habib's ways of watching it over in Dagestan that may possibly help you out and be quite a bit cheaper. With all that being said, though, I'm glad they put this card together specifically for Dustin to send him out on. This is probably one of the I'll say one of the better things that the UFC has done in recent memory, because they sure as fuck cannot put together a goddamn card for International Fight Week to save their goddamn life for the last couple of years. At least not one that's a wowing factor. Apparently they're saving that for the White House lawn, which I highly doubt is ever going to come to fruition. Um, Look, let's just get this out of the way. Women's flyweight opening the card, absolute garbage. Just toss that whole fucking thing in there. Neither one of those two girls have an absolute snowball's chance in hell making it anywhere near the rankings. Uh, so straight cans there. And hit up another couple cans here. Feel like I agree 100% with Ryan Spann and Lucas Brisky. Both of those guys. Why are they still here? Why are they still getting a paycheck? I'm guessing they're towards the end of their fucking tenures or the end of their contracts. I'm hoping they're both at the end of their contracts, because to be honest, the heavyweight division is pretty fucking bad, but that makes it worse. Well, and let me rephrase that. It's not that the heavyweight division is bad. It's just it was held up for so long, we can't tell what's good anymore in there because some dude's a fucking scumbag. But, you know, and another one I need to add to the list, Jimmy Crute is going on my fucking can list. He's had more draws than he has had wins in his last 4 fights. That's fucking crazy. Or excuse me, in his last 5 fights. We'll even go that far. That's a fucking crazy number to know that you've had more draws than wins in 5 fights. In all technicality, you didn't lose them, but you didn't fucking win either. Marcin Prachnio, another one that's a fucking can in my eyes. And he's been around a little too fucking long for my liking. To be honest, if we're looking at the premier early prelim fight, Adam Fugit is the only one that I think out of him and Dulatov have any fucking chance of going anywhere. And that's a really small chance, in my opinion. So, yeah, that one can go in the cans as well. Gautier and Valentine. Valentine is getting offered up as a sacrificial lamb, in my opinion. Gautier, yes, we can put him on the contender side of the house. There's been some flashes of brightness, but it's still very early, and his fights don't seem to last that long right now. So we need to see a little longevity in the cage. Like, how does he do getting into the late rounds on a regular basis with somebody who is of his equal to his level currently? Put him somebody equal to his level who can manage to deal with the early power and get through. But I'll keep him on a provisional contender list. Provisional, depending on how he does in the next fight or two. Praying to God somebody takes him long, maybe takes him down. Who knows? Just to see how he reacts. Because we've seen a lot of knockout artists come in, and the second they get taken down, they're fucked. Or we've seen a lot of wrestlers that are really great putting people on the ground, and then the first time they actually have to stand up, they're fucking trash. So it just goes to show it's all dependent. I can't put Prado or Veretenikov on a contender or a cans list, to be honest. I'm indifferent about both of them. Prado is still too young into his career for us to give two flying fucks about at this point. I don't think he's good enough to be on the radar at this point either. And well, as much as I know there's a lot of great fighters that come out of Kazakhstan, Vretenikov has not struck me as the guy who's gonna do anything. I mean, for fuck's sakes, the dude got knocked out by Austin Vanderford. Get the fuck out of here. Right now. Another one that goes in the can for me directly after that, Marvin fucking Vettori. Another dude who has just been an absolute stain on the UFC for his entire tenure. There was a point where they thought he was going to be the next big star because he's an Italian mouth. He's the Italian version of Conor McGregor, except for we'll never see a title. Brendan Allen, he's a can tender to me. We never know what we're going to get out of him, who shows up. If he could get his shit together, he could be decent. But he just can't seem to string them together. The Kyler Phillips, Vinicius Oliveira fight, as a whole, that's contender status on both of them because that's all going to depend on how that fight plays out and who can impose their will and their game plan the best. As a whole, I don't mind both of them. Do I ever see either one of them winning a title in the bantamweight division? No. But I can definitely see them getting up a little higher in the rankings, possibly into the top 10. Another one, straight to the fucking can, Michael Johnson. He has outlived his stay in the UFC. He was decent at one point, and I'll only say decent. He was never great, but he goes out on his shield. He's not he generally doesn't have boring fights for the most part. Daniel Zellhuber, I can't honestly say that I believe in him as much as everyone else does. He's not bad, but he's not good either. He's a middle of the road fighter at best for me. Things finally start get interesting when we move on and we get 50K Ige and Patricio Pitbull. Yes, that could be co-main event of the night, and I would have no problem with it. However, Patricio gets contender status. After the way he showed up in his first fight, knowing what he was capable of, he looked like absolute dog shit. Like, he didn't even look like the same fucking fighter. If he looks like that, Ige's going to have himself a fucking walk in the goddamn park, take another 50K home, and keep being the bonus guy. Because that dude is just, he's built different. Dan Ige is fucking built different. Said it earlier, that taking a fight on less than a day notice, less than a half a day notice, and going the distance with a guy who just had a shot at the title. And in all actuality, there were some points during that fight where he very well could have fucking won. Because he did have Diego on the ropes a couple times. That fight could be fireworks, but it could also be very one-sided. I will give that as a whole, the fight a contender because I don't know what Patricio Pitbull's going to do. If I knew what Patricio was going to do, sure. But because I don't, I can only say contender. Next one is contender as well for me. Kevin Holland and D-Rod. I love Kevin Holland. He seems to have gotten his shit together now that he knows he's going to only stay at one weight class. D-Rod's always fucking gamer. He's going to go in there. He will go out on his shield or he's going to put somebody out. There is no happy medium with him. Unfortunately for him, he's facing, it seems like a lot more focused Kevin Holland, which that's a scary fucking thought for a guy that doesn't focus much, you know. But that's also going off of Kevin Holland's last fight and how quickly it went down and what he said after the fight, which got me thinking he's possibly taking this a little more seriously, which can't blame him. He's got a lot of money to be made, and the dude is a perennial contender in the UFC. Always, whether he's welterweight, wherever he's at, he knows what he's capable of and where. D-Rod has been that guy that just hovers around the top 15. Like, can't quite break in, or he gets broke in and then he gets knocked out. So this one, I will say, contender fight as a whole. Both of them have a lot to gain and a good amount to lose off of it. Next fight, absolute fucking garbage. Why are we getting this for a fourth time of trying to make this fight? The fight that nobody gives two shits about. And to know that Roman Kopylov at some point this week said Paulo Costa he thinks is a top 5 fighter. No, the fuck he's not. Somebody's fucking delusional. Paulo Costa, he's just a big fucking juice head. Just because he's not getting caught juicing doesn't mean he isn't. He's just using something that they don't fucking test for. That's all there is to it. I mean, he's the build that guys like Vitor Belfort were in their fucking prime, when there was no drug testing. To be honest, don't get me wrong. If they want to go away and do with fucking that and bring in super soldier fighters again, I have no problem with that. I loved watching those kind of fights. But both of these guys, neither one of them are top 10 material. Roman Kopylov's not bad, but you're looking at him across from Paulo Costa, it's like choosing between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. Nobody wins that election. I'm just saying, nobody fucking wins. As a whole, should not be in the co-main event. I would much rather see fucking Kevin Holland and D-Rod sitting there in the co-main than this. And even that one I don't think is co-main ready. It's probably, to be honest, this fight as a whole should have been booked as maybe a co-main on a fight night card. I would have been all right with that. Not on a fucking pay-per-view card. And look, we don't even have to mention I don't even have to mention the main event. Everybody knows the main event is contender fight, regardless of how it plays out either way. There's a lot to lose for Max Holloway, and there's one golden send-off possible for Dustin Poirier. He's actually, you know what? Let me rephrase that. He gets a golden send-off no matter what. Win, lose, draw, maybe one of these at the end of the fight. We don't know. If it's Max Holloway being the Max Holloway I think he is, if we get to the end of the 5th round and he's up on the cards, he's going to do the same goddamn thing that he gave fucking to Justin Gaethje and give him the opportunity to beat him standing in the middle of the ring. To be honest, I would love to see that, but I don't think that's how it's going to play out. Dustin's a way smarter fucking fighter than that. But so is Max. And knowing that these guys have fought before, there's nothing but good things that are going to come out of this. This is the saving grace of this entire fucking card. There's a reason why I say, get your friends together so you don't foot this bill by yourself. Because this card is not worth footing the bill by yourself. Go out to some place that does have it, or you pay an entry fee. Like a bar or a Buffalo Wild Wings or some other sports bar. There's going to be a bunch of them around that are going to have it on. Go pay the fucking $5, $10 cover charge. Way cheaper than spending $80 yourself. And definitely worth it versus spending the $80 or whatever the fuck they're charging for this one. Although, which, you know what? That does bring up one other thing, and I'm going to say it now before we get on the next segment or before the media gets the shit out. I saw something this week that said certain boxing places are looking to get out of pay-per-views because they think it's ruining boxing. I fucking love that. And to be honest, this type of shit, pay-per-view, is ruining the UFC. It's one and the same. You can't just throw a bunch of random garbage on a card and call it a fucking pay-per-view, regardless of who the main event is. The card has to be stacked from top to be bottom to be pay-per-view worthy, in my opinion. This is not. This is a really great fight night card, in my opinion. That's just coming with a pay-per-view price tag.
So I agree. This is for the most part, I try to make a point when UFC leaves the Apex to give them the credit that they deserve, because generally speaking, when they leave the Apex, regardless of where they go, they try and stack the card for the most part with people with ties to the area that they're going. Yes, it's cool that they put this whole thing together in New Orleans for Dustin Poirier, but at the same fucking time, he is far from the only person from New Orleans, from Louisiana in general, in the UFC actively right now. Yes, he's obviously the biggest name, and this is all for him, but there are several other New Orleans or Louisiana fighters that could have and probably should have been on this card, because the only real tie to the area is the main event. That kind of sucks. The UFC has done a lot better than this, even when they've been shitty about it this year. This is probably the single worst local tide, I say with air quotes, card that the UFC has put on outside of the Apex this year. That being said, there's still a couple of good ones on here. I really think that the UFC did Chris Ewart dirty as fuck. Christian talked about it a little bit earlier. 2 weeks ago, we were supposed to see Jackson McVeigh make his debut against Chris Ewart. Chris Ewart took the fight on 3 days' notice with the understanding that he was flying to Vegas for a 195-pound catchweight fight. When he got there, they told him the catchweight was out the window, and there was no fucking way he could cut that much extra weight. And so the UFC cut him back to the Contender Series and pushed Jackson back all the way to here to now take on Ferreira. Bruno Ferreira is not the greatest dude in the UFC, but he is far from the fucking biggest can they could have lobbed up for McVeigh to make his actual debut against now. So I'm very curious how this one plays out. Like TJ mentioned earlier, if McVeigh can get this win, they're going to strap the fucking rockets to him and send him into orbit. McVeigh was already awesome on the LFA scene. He did great in fucking Shamrock FC. He's a tall drink of water with power. Interesting at fucking middleweight, because that's kind of what Ferreira is as well. So this is an interesting matchup, way more interesting than the original match against Ewart, I feel. So I'm definitely interested in that matchup. I'm weird and I'm petty and I don't care. I'm very owned about it. I have a very black heart, and I would very much love to see this fucking model come in and get his shit rocked and get laid out, wake up staring at fucking lights going, what happened? And then end up going back to modeling undies for fucking rich assholes. I have zero fucking use for underwear models in the fucking UFC. They're almost as useless as women beater to me. Get the fuck out of here. Go be pretty for a living. Don't get punched in the face. You're not going to make as much money, and you're going to end up getting your fucking ass kicked and wasting a lot of people's time. I genuinely hope Adam Buggett beats the shit out of this fucking kid. I don't care. That being said, the entirety of the prelims themselves are just a big keep the volume up loud enough to hear somebody yell, oh, because the majority of those fights are going to be uninteresting. I'm calling it right now. Gautier versus Valentin, maybe if we get to see what Gautier has been showing so far, could be fun. Other than that, that could be a very 15 minutes wet blanket boring fucking match. Prado versus Vertenikov, they already covered it. There's not a lot to get excited about there. I honestly would much rather, like I said, I'm petty and I don't fucking care. I would rather see Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen go back to that fucking casino and fight on the goddamn floor than I would see them climb in the fucking octagon and waste time on a pay-per-view card Saturday afternoon. at least then they were actually going for it and there was nobody that was going to step in the fucking way and stop that shit. This has the potential to be another 15-minute, what the fuck are we doing, boring match, and I don't really give a fuck about it. It's not going to impact the division. It's not going to impact either one of their fucking careers. It's just a fucking card filler at this point, and there's more than enough of that on here already. That being said, it's not the best main card that they have ever put together, but it ain't fucking bad. 50K versus Pitbull is either going to be fight of the fucking night or a sad moment where we watch a dude who shouldn't have been here getting his ass beat for a second time in a row. I get it. It's justified in being on the main card. I'm not going to say it's great placement, but it's justified because of the potential implications coming out of it. Kevin Holland versus D-Rod is the single fight that I am the most interested in on this card, period. Flintlock and I talked about this 2 weeks ago on our pregame show. Kevin Holland is the one fighter I wish would move up. Kevin Holland fought at 185 and was very open about the fact that he liked fighting at 185 because he didn't have to be disciplined. We've seen, and these guys both mentioned, the difference in discipline-focused 170 Kevin Holland. If he would take that same goddamn discipline he's showing at welterweight and put a couple more pounds of fucking muscle on, I have every fucking confidence he would be a genuine fucking problem at 185 pounds. Granted, I respect that he wants to hold himself accountable and do the work at 170. And he clearly is. He's still working his ass off trying to get a half a dozen fights in a calendar year. That ain't easy to do for anybody. But if he was doing that same thing at 185 pounds, he could be the champ by Christmas, in my opinion. I still think this is going to be a good match. I like D-Rod. He's been through some shit. He's been up and down, but he's still a tough motherfucker. Like TJ said, he's a with your shield or on it type of dude. He's going to give it to you or you're going to give it to him. There's no two ways about it. But I think disciplined, focused Kevin Holland is going to be a problem for it. I'm here for it. I want to fucking see it. But I said it on the pregame show. I'm saying it again. If Kevin Holland would put that same focus he's using at 170 pounds into the 185 pounds, don't be fat, don't be lazy, maintain the fucking physique like he's doing at 170, but hold it at 185, dude, he could fuck Drickus up. I'm telling you right now, I would put my money on it all day. He could fuck Drickus up if he took 185 seriously. Sad part is that he's taking 170 serious, so now we got to see what D-Rod can do, because D-Rod's in for one. I'm convinced of it. I agree with what has been said about this co-main event. I don't know why we have this fight the fourth fucking time they have made it, let alone now it's a fucking co-main on a pay-per-view. It very, very much does feel like they are trying to serve Costa up on a fucking platter for Kopylov to just do some weird shit, lay him out, and the UFC can finally just send him on to fucking PFL. But Kopylov isn't exactly the most fucking reliable legend killer himself either. So it's like, this would be a great premier prelim fight. Not so sure it's going to live up to what we all need in the co-main event, but there are ways that it could be very interesting. So we'll see. In terms of that marquee fight, though, one way or another, we will all be crying Saturday evening. No matter how this fight plays out, I'm telling you right now, we will all be crying Saturday night, because regardless of how that fight ends, this is the end of an era. The Diamond has been there for the majority of the formative years of the UFC. He has been in some of the biggest matches to help put the UFC on the fucking map. He's a name that almost any casual fan will know. If they don't know his whole resume, they still know the name. Problem is they're sending him out against one of the few dudes still around from his era that might be able to take that fucking rose on his way out the door. I got nothing against Dustin Poirier. I will always give that man his flowers. I say it all the fucking time, and I will continue to say it all the fucking time. Credit where credit is due, regardless of how you feel about that person. And I will always tip my fucking cap to Dustin Poirier because that man stood in the fucking fire and he did the goddamn thing like few ever have before him. But this is a little bit different of a matchup. Yes, he and Max have fought before, but the last time they fought, Max wasn't a 155-pound fighter. Max was a 145-pound fighter who was not cutting as much weight to get to 55. Max has moved to 55 officially. He has said it publicly, officially, multiple times now. He is never going back to featherweight. He changed his physique. He changed his diet. He changed his routine. He changed his life. He is staying at lightweight, rather, for the remainder of his career. He has changed who and how he was when they fought the last time. I think he won the last fight. I watched that motherfucker. I watched it since then. I still think Max won that fight. I think he's going to do it this time, though. I think Max has got enough of an evolution. He's got enough of his body built right. Dustin's too scattered mentally with all of this coming in, knowing it's going to be his last time, with Wayne walking him out, knowing that everything is going to end one way or another. I think Max does him dirty. But we'll see Saturday.
Sadly agree with you there, brother. I appreciate both of you boys. Definitely pretty this pay-per-view up better than the UFC could. Got it, man. You gotta polish it up for the diamond. They couldn't, but we did. Appreciate you, bros.
Thank you very much, sir. So, that being said, that'll bring us to the only segment of the show that actually requires its own individual disclaimer. So, if you will. Tapology.com in no way, shape, or form supports, sponsors, or endorses the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, Tapology does give you the option to go onto their site, create a free account, and make fantasy-style MMA picks like we do here on the show. They even let you make groups. So we made one. It's called I'm No Bookie, all one word, or Group 965, however you need to find it. The group is open to the public. You are welcome and encouraged. Make yourself an account, join the group, and let us know who the hell you are so we can hold your picks accountable with our picks and a little thing that we call Tapology with TJ.
All right. You know, I'm pretty sure last time we were on, I said I was probably going to shit the bed last week. I fucking lied. I took it to the goddamn house, slam dunked that shit, and walked out. I fucking lied to everybody. I got everybody's hopes up, thinking that, oh, there's a possibility they're going to win this week. Wrong. Try again, motherfucker. Now, with all that being said, there is a little something that I do need to talk about because I'm pretty sure we talked about this earlier this year, or earlier this Grand Prix. Let me rephrase that. There's a little bit of cheating going on between the brothers over there. Both 9 of 12 correct. 20-point difference between the two of them, right in the middle of the pack.
I knew you were gonna say this shit again this week, and I'm not having it this time. I don't
Bullshit.
care if our points were similar. His ass is a fucking Benedict Arnold and goes against my goddamn picks every week, and I'm sick of this fucking slander with you. I can't get his ass to go with my picks worth a goddamn whether I wanted it to or not, man. He picked Morgan Charrier, and I fucking went solid with Nate the Train.
Well,
Yeah, that wasn't even the only fucking pick. His ass goes against me every week. Every one of these contenders you see me that I just said this week, his ass going against him. I think he's got Gautier. That's it.
have you ever watched ESPN? Have you ever watched ESPN at all?
Oh, yeah, I watched
Okay.
ESPN my whole damn life.
In this case, if you've been watching ESPN your whole damn life, there was a little segment on there used to be called The Numbers Don't Lie.
Yeah, we're both pretty good at
9
our
of
picks, and I
fucking
want some
12.
fucking credit instead of the slander that we cheat.
9 of 12. The numbers don't lie. That's all I'm saying. We'll just
Yeah,
have to
the
have.
numbers don't lie. We're pretty damn good.
Yeah, okay, whatever you got to tell yourself to feel better about the situation. I don't know who chicken scratched on who over there. I'm not pointing any fingers, saying that it was you chicken scratching off of him or him chicken scratching off you. But there's some really odd shit going on over
I
there.
think
I'm
you
just
need to take a
saying.
deeper dive into these picks instead of just seeing the scores close every week, man. That's all I'm
Bruh.
saying.
I'm just saying there's some weird shit going on over there. That's
Do some
all.
research for this segment. You got to bring some receipts in here.
Oh, there's an obvious receipt there. I've got a couple of them. I mean, if you want me to email them over, we can do so. I have no problems doing that. Just saying, we put everything on a curve. Your guys' curves look pretty goddamn similar right now. All right, couldn't help but throw a little fucking shit. Like I said, if you come and join the group over here with us, know that you're going to catch hell sometimes. And yes, it's all in good fun, but you're still going to catch shit. And we will pat you on the back when you do well. Well, I'll pat you on the back. You'll get one of these attaboys. And then we move right on. Because, none of this really fucking matters. It's all just for fun. And so come join us over on I'm No Bookie over on Tapology. It's absolutely free. But before I get ahead of myself here, we do have to talk about the elephant in the room. Goddamn elephant in the room is the meter. He's been shit in the bed each and every goddamn week lately. Cannot get his shit straight. But to his credit this week, even though he stomped on his dick, he didn't stomp on it hard. He still got 8 of 12 correct. It was just everybody else has had more sex than me. If you understand that reference, that's where Meter is sitting right now. He just this week was that week for him. He did well because nobody in our group as a whole got below 8 correct. That's 8 of 12.
I
That's
didn't
a
win, but I'm still
75%
holding
quit.
giant cheetah print panties up.
that that's almost a 75% quip for Meter. It's just shy of 75%, which, it's not bad. Anything over the 500 mark when it comes to picking fights is fucking fantastic. So as a whole, everybody in the group, even the cheaters amongst us, attaboy. Oh, look at that. Oh, he zoned out there. Damn it, he didn't even catch that. Ah, it's no fun throwing strays when you're not paying attention. You know that, right? Oh, with that being said, let's move on and we'll take a look at the Grand Prix where we're sitting right now. With I think there is 3 events left, I think, including this week. And Tapology is being a prick. There we go. Yep, oh no, excuse me, there's only 2 events. It is this week and then July 26th, finishing over in Abu Dhabi. So, right now, because I've got these back-to-back fucking weeks doing work for me, I've increased my lead a bit here to I have 3150, 47 of 70, which I said not great on the picks. And our boys who are bumping uglies over there are pretty close to each other with only 100-point difference. You got Vindog just ahead of Christian with 28.55, Christian at 27.85. Here's where it gets spicy. Yes, there may be a little bit of changing, but they're pretty fucking close. 47 of 70 and 44 of 70 picks correct so far. So yeah, you can say Benedict Arnold all you want, but 3 picks don't make a Benedict Arnold. I'm just saying. Meter has pulled his shit back together a little bit with this week, pulling 41 of 70 correct with and then 2006.35. Don over here has finally shit the bed enough to where we thought he had a good run started. And he's sitting at 39 of 70 at this point with 2,390. There's no way, there's not a snowball's chance in hell he catches me. Everybody else has a chance. Don, absolutely none. Fucking done. But either way, if you haven't, come over, join us, Tapology. It's absolutely free. We know you love free shit because you're watching us for free or listening to us for free. That is, unless you are a member of the Patreon, which There's a link down for that below, and also scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Over there, little as $1 a month. Every dollar helps make this show a little bit better. But in the meantime, come join Tapology. Group 965, I'm no bookie. Get yourself in, let us know who you are if you want to catch some strays. If you don't want to catch strays, make sure I don't recognize your username, because then you're going to catch fucking strays. Or you'll get patted on the back when you do well. If you want to get patted on your back when you do well, tell us who you are. Now, all that being stated, let's get the fuck out of Tapology here and move on to some odds for this weekend. Saturday, July 19th. The BMF title on the line. There's some rather wide odds on here. They're not super wide like we've seen in the past. Also, for those of you that have been missing this for a while, we're going back to BetMGM this week. And I'm also going to throw in a couple quips about some of these wider odds just to point them out on here, so you'll get some neat things here. But as far as the so we'll start with some smaller gapped odds, and then we'll hit some of the wider ones because there's quite a few of them on this card as a whole. We're going to start with right here. The opening card that I said can be thrown, or the opening fucking fight card that I said can be thrown right in the trash. No, Nicole Kalari and Carly Judas. She's a fucking Judas. Well, fucking Judas is coming in as a minus 350 favorite over a plus 275 in Kalari. Or Cagliari, excuse me. I'm probably murdering her name, but I don't care because neither one of them are going to go anywhere. So fairly wide odds for an opening fight on the card. And you've got another fight that I said can go in the absolute fucking trash in Marcin Prochnio and Jimmy Crute. Crute, albeit very shoddily lately, is coming in as a favorite at a minus 300 over Prochnio at a plus 240 underdog. Now, here's where we start to get into some of the wider odds on the card here. And we're going to start here with, in my opinion, what should be a pretty good fight here in D-Rod and Kevin Holland. I've got Kevin Holland coming in as a minus 500 favorite over a plus 360 in D-Rod. Look, I love Kevin Holland just as much as the next guy. But giving him that kind of wide odds is a little bit crazy in my book because you never know with Kevin Holland. He says he's focusing, but is he really? Has he made any arrests this week or saved anybody from fucking kidnapping? Because usually those are the fights where you know he's going to fuck somebody up. I haven't seen that in the news this week or heard a goddamn thing from it out of his mouth. And Big Mouth will always let you know when that shit happens. But that's one of the wider odds on the card here. We've got another one here that is Jackson McVeigh and Bruno Ferreira. Ferreira coming in as a minus 600 favorite over Jackson McVeigh as a plus 425 underdog. They're doing your boy McVeigh bad for you Missouri fans there. I'm just saying. There's some shoddy work going on in that area.
Bruh.
One that's a little bit slightly wider odds, and not by much. And that is going to be... Actually, we have the Adam Fugit and Islam Dulatov. They've got Dulatov coming in as a minus 625 favorite over a plus 450 underdog in Adam Fugit. A little bit crazy, right? But that's not the widest odds on the card. That honor goes to Daniel Zellhuber and Michael Johnson. Daniel Zellhuber coming in as a minus 650 favorite over a plus 475 Michael Johnson. Like I said earlier, Michael Johnson is way too long in the tooth. Always been just a middle of the road guy. Daniel.
If I remember correctly, those odds weren't that bad earlier this week. And then Michael Johnson did media day and said that he's going to punish this young kid and then go on a title run. And I'm pretty sure the Vegas odds actually went worse for him once he said that this week.
Yeah. Oh, and there was one other one I missed in here. My apologies. So we'll hit it here. It's not the widest odds on the card, but it is a pretty wide one. And that's Robert Valentine and a beta Gautier. Gautier coming in as a minus 550 favorite over a plus 400 underdog in Valentine. So that one adds up, to be quite frank. I mean, there's really not a whole lot you can say outside of it's the fucking truth. Now, let's hit up these co-main and main here. We'll hit the Kopylov and Roman Kopylov and fucking Juicehead Paulo Costa. My apologies, my brain decided to stop working there. And they've got Kopylov coming in as a minus 235 favorite over a plus 190 in Paulo Costa. Not surprising in the fucking least. Because to be honest, Paulo Costa hasn't fought in over a fucking year. Kopylov has at least fought. He hasn't looked great in all of them, but he's fought. So that makes sense. Then your main event, surprise, surprise, and Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. They've got it pretty goddamn close to a coin flip. They've got Max with a slight leading edge here at a minus 140 over a plus 115 in Dustin Poirier on his way out on home turf.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not mad at the odds, but I think they should have just fucking gave him a dead even heap right here, just purely what's going on. But keep an eye on those odds, because I think as we get closer, they're going to widen a little bit, knowing that everything that we've seen so far this week out of Dustin Poirier and knowing how he's kind of reflecting on all of his time, I don't think his head's there. So I have a feeling those odds are going to widen a little bit further. So you might be able to get some better odds. Don't bet on that one right away. Maybe last minute. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to bet. No, I'm not telling you to bet or anything like that, because I'm not here to advise on gambling. But I'm just letting you know this will help with making your picks when you come over and join Tapology for free. So take it or leave it as you will. If you do bet, bet responsibly. You know the whole drill. Same thing all of those fucking casinos say, because, if they tell you to bet responsibly, that absolves them of responsibility. I'm telling you to bet responsibility or responsible so you don't look like a fucking jackass losing a goddamn house payment when you probably shouldn't have bet that much. But either way, that's all we got this week. And we'll be back next week to cover who fucked up and who didn't.
Thank you very much, sir. Always appreciated. That being said, that will bring us to the point in the show where normally we would be rolling a terrifying GIF across the screen, but that's still fighting technical gremlins at the moment. So for now, you're just going to have to take my word for it. Normally there would be a terrifying GIF, but this is the point in the show where we take things down a notch and we bring the friendly back to a little bit of fuck you. We take the ha-ha and we get to a little bit of her. This is the point in the show we call the pit. Gentlemen, are you boys ready to talk some shit in the pit?
Just so long as somebody doesn't have an earpiece in, getting all the correct answers from somebody else.
All right. So
What you gonna
since
do about
he's-
it?
since he's may or may not have an earpiece, Chris, I'll give you the option. Would you like to go first, or would you like to make TJ go first?
He can go first.
All right.
Already
So-
trying to cheat off my fucking answers.
Galti, that puts you up on the block. So we'll kick things off the way we like to kick things off in the pit. Every card, especially this card, has plenty of filler on it. So if you've got somebody new that's hanging out with you while you're watching fights, there's inevitably one fight that you want to make sure that their focus is on the TV when that is happening. We like to affectionately call it the fight of the evening. If there's just one on this card that you would make sure somebody was paying attention to for their first fight, which one would that be?
Look, I'm gonna take really low hanging fruit here because, to be honest, somebody's going down. Period. And that's gonna be Kevin Holland and Daniel Rodriguez. One of those two is inevitably gonna end up finished, in my opinion. Whether it's Kevin Holland being too mouthy, or whether it's D-Rod pulling his "I'm going out on the Shield" routine. Somebody's going fucking out in this fight. And to be honest, at a welterweight fight, this is probably one of the most active fights you're going to see at welterweight. So it'll be a good, interesting one. And to be honest, you never know. Kevin Holland may finish it on the feet. He may finish it on the ground. D-Rod, God only knows what D-Rod's going to do. So it'll make it interesting, but it will definitely not be boring. And those are the kind of fights you want to bring newbies in on. Things that aren't boring, holds their attention, and lets them learn about the sport as it goes along.
Absolutely agree with that. That is definitely a good fight to bring somebody in to watch. Excuse me. So that brings it back across the octagon to you here, Christian. Every fight, or excuse me, every card inevitably has one fight that if you've got a newbie hanging around with you, you got to make sure they are pay attention because this is going to be the one that they want to watch. The hey, ball, get in here fight, if you will. On this 318 New Orleans card, which one is that for you?
Well, without taking some low-hanging fruit, I'm going to go with a badass middleweight fight. Boy from fucking Missouri that's finished every fight he's been in against a motherfucker with some serious knockout power. Those are the kind of fights you want to see. Those are the kind of fights you want to tell somebody to get in on if they've never seen a fucking fight before. Something where somebody's getting put to sleep. That's one of those few fights we've got on this card. Damn sure got to go with Ferreira versus Mbaye.
I can definitely agree with that, Mo boys. Plus, there's a factor that that fight might just go apeshit. So I can definitely agree with that being one to get folks to pay attention to as well. So that'll bring us to round two, and that'll flip things across, as it were. So, Chris, we stick with you here for this one. So, if every card has one fight that you got to make sure people are paying attention to, that also means that every fight has at least one, excuse me, every card has one fight that you can pretty much just dismiss, use it to go take a piss, use it to take a dab, use it to go bang your old lady for a quickie on the laundromat, you know, whatever you need to do, fulfill your 15 minutes and take your time up more preciously than wasting it for this shit. Which fight are you ignoring this weekend?
This one's fairly easy for me. There's a few fights that you can easily say fuck this and take your sweet time this weekend, do the things you need to do, like go take you a leak. But it's the Ryan Spann Lucas Brzeski fight. Like I mentioned in my fucking Kansas and Tinder segment, neither one of these guys should still be in the UFC. And that's the stupidest thing about this matchup is only one of them are probably going to get their walking papers. Because why else would you give them both a fight now if you were going to give them both the fucking papers on the way out? Sad day that one of them gets to stick around. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The UFC, for what it's worth, could absolutely take a page out of that WWE book and instead of having a loser leaves town match, having a when this is over, both of you get the fuck out of here match. And I don't think anybody would be sad if that was this case. So I agree with you there as well. So that brings us back across the cage here. Golf tee. If every card has one fight you got to make sure people pay attention to, it also means that there's one that you can use to go top off your whiskey and make sure the kid isn't running their muck on the neighborhood on his Razor scooter. Which fight are you using that for this weekend?
I said it earlier and I'll say it fucking again. Jimmy Crute and Marcin Prachnio. Jimmy Crute has drawn more fights than he has won in his last 5. Marcin Prachnio is a flip-floppy can at best. This is not the fight you want people to turn into, especially not at light fucking heavyweight. That ends up being 3 very boring fucking rounds. Look, there was a time when Jimmy Crute possibly had a chance of showing some shit. Then all of a sudden, the Training wheels came off the bike and realized that motherfucker ain't got no balance. Prochnio still has the fucking training wheels on. So yeah, definitely not worth the watch.
Yeah, I will definitely agree there. I love rooting for Polish Power as a Polak man, and when Prochnio came in, I was like, "Yo, we got another light heavyweight. Look at this." No, we absolutely did not. And I tell you what, dude, Jimmy Crute came into the UFC with a fucking flash of fire, man. The whole fucking Umbrella Corp logo tattooed, looked like a fucking badass right out the gate. And then, yeah, like you said, once those training wheels came off, that motherfucker's got the balance of a goldfish that's drunk at 2 a.m. Not worth a shit. That being said, it'll bring us back around to round 3 here. Golf tee, that means we're back over in your corner here. We have got a very interesting is the word I'll use for it. A very interesting co-main event this weekend. We talked about it earlier. This fight, I'm not joking, has been made, booked, moved, and fallen out and rebooked 4 separate times. But here we get it as the co-main event for UFC 318. Paulo Secret Juice Costa versus Roman Kopylov. How do you think this one plays out?
Ironically, both of these fighters have the exact same fucking problem. Anytime that they get a fucking chance to get anywhere near a good ranking or a tough opponent, they fold like a cheap fucking lawn chair. This is both of them fighting for a mediocre spot at best. We're never going to see Paulo Costa ever rise to the occasion and get back to anywhere near a title challenge. The last chances he's had, he shit the bed miserably. Roman Kopylov looks great against cans. The second they give him anybody of any noteworthy worthiness, he's meh at best. But what I do see happening here is I think Paulo Costa is really on his fucking way out. And like he takes so much goddamn time between every fucking fight. Kopylov's a lot more active. I won't say he's a great fighter. I don't think we'll ever see him get a run at the title. But I think he will manage to take off Paulo Costa. Is he going to be able to put him out? That part is debatable. But I really do think I see him getting the decision over him. But I mean, it could very well go the other way because he folds under fucking pressure. Paulo Costa could manage to outpoint Kopylov. Either way, this is going to decision. But my money is on something. I'm going to give Kopylov the slightest of edge. Not a huge edge, but just the slightest. I think Kopylov gets it via a very close decision.
Interesting indeed. So that'll bring us back over to the other corner here. Christian, we have got an interesting co-main event on our hands here. The Secret Juice has returned to the octagon, assuming everything goes well between now and Saturday, of course. How the hell do you think this weird fucking co-main event plays out?
In all honesty, none of us give a flying fuck about the fake co-main event. The real co-main event is what's gonna fucking be exciting as all hell. Dan 50K game is gonna beat the holy living shit out of Patricio Pitbull and get himself another 50K bonus and give us one of the actual exciting moments of the night. Kopylov's going to shit the bed again, not getting to the rankings. Costa's going to get himself cut from the UFC. fake ass co-main event.
Well, I tell you what, if I had that fucking magic UFC pen, we'd be ribbling down that fucking script right now and make sure it gets to the truck before Saturday. Oh, good shit. Good shit. All right. So, round 4. That sticks us back here with you to kick this one off, Chris. Round 4, we have got to talk about that fucking main event. It is the marquee, the reason for the season. It is literally the reason that this event is being held in New Orleans. Full stop. Dustin the Diamond Poirier makes his final walk to the octagon, and there is no better competitor to be standing across the cage from him, in my opinion, than Max Blessed Holloway. So when those two finally get in there and they lock the door behind them, how do you think this one last ride plays out for the Diamond?
I'm hoping they do Dustin a justice and give him the right walkout. He said he's not ditching the James Brown, but he also said Lil Wayne's walking him out. So I hope you get that little startup, the shine bright like a diamond fucking intro. And then it gets to James Brown. He starts coming out with Lil Wayne, and it just kind of remixes into Lil Wayne doing the shitty, the rappers do. He just starts rapping one of his songs. He takes fucking Dustin to the cage. We'll get that amazing moment with Bruce. And then 25 minutes of absolute fucking war. The only way it could really be capped off is as an MMA fan, whether I don't want Dustin to get knocked out or Max, right? The coolest thing I ever saw was last year, UFC 300, when we saw 25 minutes of war between Justin and Max, and then Max fucking points down. Last 10 seconds, say go at it, and literally 1 second left on the clock. Bam! And Justin face points. If they do that shit again, God tier. And Max Holloway as well would be in God tier, man. That's how I view it. We're getting one hell of a fucking moment as a fight fan, one way or another. 25 minutes of war, Dustin going out on his shield, and the highlight riding off into the sunset, or he's going off on his shield. And getting a bunch of respect and flowers, but we're all going to be sad and slightly emotional. It's going to be a good fucking weekend, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend one way or another. I absolutely agree. So that brings us back across the octagon, as it were, to you, Golf T. The final walk, the last ride of Dustin Poirier, and he's making that last walk against the Blessed Express. How do you think it plays out when it's all said and done?
How it plays out is a whole bunch of fucking tears across the MMA community, including Dustin. Not necessarily because of a win or loss, but just because it's the end. And what a better way to go off than hopping on the Blessed Express to take that as your train ride out. Now, as far as the way I think the fight is going to play out, we're going to go back in time here a little bit. For those of you that are old enough to remember WEC, I'm sure Kristen doesn't remember this because he was probably peeing in his diaper at that time because he's a youngin'. Dustin Poirier made his professional debut in WEC and lost his first fight via decision. I hate to say it, but this is going to be kind of like how your life works. You start in diapers, you end in diapers, if you're lucky. I think we end up seeing Max Holloway outpoint him, outstrike him, albeit going to be a very competitive fight. And he goes out with a loss, unfortunately. He's going to come in and go out the same way he started. He's had too much stuff on his mind this week. They've been hitting him in the feels left and right. And when you got all that shit running through your brain, it is hard to fucking focus. Now, don't get me wrong. Dustin Poirier is a consummate professional and is constantly at the top of the game. There's a reason why he hasn't left the top 10 ranking in like a fucking decade. That's fucking crazy when you think about that. But to know all of the pressure that is on him right now, and I won't even say pressure because it's not a pressure fight. He's fighting for a BMF title. Look, I'll say it. I think the BMF title is fucking bullshit. Just call people bad motherfuckers who are bad motherfuckers. We don't need a goddamn title for that. That's made up in fairyland. It was to make somebody's dick feel a little bit bigger at one point. It really doesn't mean shit to me because there are a lot of great fighters in the UFC and former great fighters that were in the UFC that I still consider bad motherfuckers. Randy Couture, for one, coming out of fucking a car accident where he got burned to fuck. And he'll probably be racing again by the end of the fucking year. But unfortunately, with all that being said, they're both bad motherfuckers. Unfortunately, I think Max gets it done. And I say unfortunately, I think it's a bad thing. Look, it's not a bad thing to lose to Max Holloway. It's not a bad thing to lose to Dustin Poirier. You're legitimately fighting each other, cream of the crop versus cream of the crop. Unfortunately, one cream will rise to the top, and I think this week it's going to be Max Holloway. And we're going to send Dustin off the same way he came into WEC. Only this time with a lot more fanfare, because to be honest, he's been a fan favorite for a fucking long time. I've been a long time fan, not just when he beat Connor's ass, because I'm old enough to remember the WEC days. But it's gonna be a heartfelt goodbye from everyone, regardless of how it plays out, even though I think he does go down swinging.
I could definitely see that as well. That is a definite possibility for sure. They grind it 25 hard fucking minutes, hug it out, and then the end is going to be the end. So, that being said, that'll bring us to the do or die moment of the evening, the make or break round 5, because through close scoring, we've managed to keep it tied up somehow through 4 rounds. So, we're going to round 5, winner take all. And because we got such a special card this weekend, we're not going to the post-it notes of fate. I've got a very specific question for this one here. And since it worked out so well going this far, Golf T, you're going to go first on this one. We'll let the kid go second, just because I'm curious how he's going to answer this one. Saturday night, somewhere around midnight Central Time, USA. One way or another, regardless of how the fight ends, will be the end of an era in combat sports. Dustin Poirier is one of the few, and I'm literally getting goosebumps saying this. He is one of the few still around from the days when the UFC really started to matter. And you couldn't be a one-trick pony anymore. You had to be that motherfucker in whatever weight class you were in. And he was one of the first to show up and be one of those motherfuckers. And here we are in 2025. And he's hanging it up. And he's doing it on his terms. But regardless, he is one of the last few from that era. And my question, gentlemen, who comes after Dustin Poirier and hangs it up next? Because there's a couple that are on that verge. But with Dustin walking out the door, I have a feeling it's going to make it a little bit easier for those guys that are almost there. So my question is, who's the next big name we see hang it up?
That's a bit of a fucking tough one, to be honest. Because there's a lot of guys that are getting a little long in the tooth that are still good. but they're fucking getting there where you're going, you've been around for a really long time. When is the time that it's time to hang it up and on your own fucking merit? If it's me going this route, whether people agree or not, if we're talking big names in my eyes, and let me rephrase this. Big name is subjective to whoever the person is. There's not a lot of the WEC guys left. I mean, you've had some of them come back. I mean, look, Mighty Mouse was one of those big guys. Never got the credit he deserved. But he was a big guy. That was a loss to the MMA community when he fucking decided to hang it up. And unfortunately, he didn't get to hang it up in the UFC because, well, Dana White didn't like that. He didn't promote fights the way he wanted them promoted. Fuck. But to be honest, I think one of the next bigger ones we're gonna see is gonna be when Robert Whitaker does. As Robert Whitaker's been perennial and around a long fucking time. He's been the champ. He's defended the belt. He's lost chances at it again. But he's still hovering in those top 5. Whether people agree with it or not, he's a great example of the fucking MMA community. One, he's a genuinely nice person. He's a family man. He's like fucking Dustin Poirier. With the exception of, actually, I'll say he's closer to a Max Holloway. The dude likes to play fucking video games. But he's also a great fucking fighter. He might be kind of a one-trick pony, but that's a one-trick pony that's lasted a really long fucking time. And proved that with the right amount of takedown defense, you can still be great. You can still win a championship, even if you only have one thing. But you have to be really good at the defense of the exact opposite of what you're really good at. And he's that guy. So, to be honest, I feel like he might not say it, but I think he's up on the chopping block. We're starting to think about retirement next. At least as far as like the James Toney title holders, he's going to be that guy.
That time is getting close. So especially with him coming up with a big fucking main event here, if he fucking loses in bad fashion in that next main event coming up, we very well could see Bobby Knuckles step away. So that is definitely a good answer for sure. Christian, that'll bring us back across the octagon to you, sir. With Poirier hanging him up, it is absolutely the end of an era, and there's not too many like him left. So who do you think is the next one we see decide to ride off into the sunset and tip their cap to the UFC?
I honestly think one of the guys that we just saw this past weekend, Wonder Boy. He talked about how he's got one fight left on his contract, and even though his mindset right now is he wants to see how that fight goes and then see if he can maybe re-sign with the UFC. The UFC doesn't tend to do that kind of shit. He's 42 years old. He probably won't get a chance to re-sign, even though I felt like he won that fight. He took some serious damage in that one, broke his fucking foot, took that gnarly gash on his leg, admitted that that was the first time he's had like a gnarly fucking cut like that in a fight in his career. So mentioned that he had to get like 3 levels of stitches in that motherfucker, and it's gonna be a fat minute for him to heal up that leg and the foot before he can really get back in there. And did mention those statements, even if he wants to keep going at it as long as he can, he's got the one fight left, so he's already kind of looking at that one as if maybe that's the last one. Hey, let me do Dustin thing. Let me go get my hometown and give me a little ride off of the sunset thing. So I feel like it's high possibility that the end of this year, start of next year, see Wonder Boy right off. And you could also see Jim fucking Miller, man, because he's been a little bit back and forth the past couple of years more than just continuing to string them together. As much as the guys want to continue on, sport catches up to them. You keep taking those losses, and then they'll second guess themselves because they'd rather get to that point where they can still, like Meter always says, have some of that cognitive function and be able to live their lives a bit.
The reason I ask this question is because I have, and I say it all the time, I'm a morbid motherfucker and I don't care. I own that shit. I have a dark feeling in the back of my mind that we might see Dustin pull off the inevitable and lay Max out for his final fight. And if Max gets laid out, we could be in store for another Zach Cummings, Ed Herman moment where they both decide at the end of the night they're going to leave both their gloves in the octagon and both walk the fuck away. Because at this point, what do either one of them have to fucking prove? Max is a fucking warrior, but his last couple haven't been the best, to say it politely. There's a real possibility he could say, you know what, Dustin got me and I'm done. I got enough money. I got a life ahead of myself. I got kids. I got family. Fuck it.
Yep, and he's heavily a family man. I mean, that very well could be a possibility.
And let me be clear, I don't want that. I don't want that. But
Although,
there's a real possibility.
would there ever be a more iconic doubling retirement if that
That's
ever
what I'm
did
saying,
happen?
though. Like, that would secure that moment in the Hall of Fame forever. Like, it doesn't need a ballot nomination. Just go ahead and take that fucking moment and put it in the Hall of Fame because it doesn't need to be voted on. That's in, period. Done.
I'm hoping they really put something nice together for Dustin, because if we don't get a good fucking strong video in there,
Right.
I'll be fucking furious.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. But that being said, well played to both of you gentlemen here. By close call at the very end with the Wonder Boy, Chris takes the pit 48-47. I agree. Whitaker is definitely up on the chopping block, but I think Wonder Boy, after talking about having just one fight left and then watching him blow his fucking knee open to the bone and then kick Bonfim in the fucking head with it bleeding, I think Wonder Boy might be a little closer to calling it a fucking career at this point, at least in the UFC. We might still see him in karate combat, but
Also, can we say
Sadly, especially because he got robbed, man. Like
he got fucking
won
robbed
he
bad?
won that fight.
he
And
absolutely
if he
Without
would
a
have
shadow of
actually
a doubt.
gotten that win, he's still up there in the rankings, and he could still keep that like thought alive in his head that he's been keeping for years. Hey, I can still make a fucking
still
run at
make
this
it.
shit,
Yeah.
right? Like
Run is just
now
one
he
win
fucking
away.
can't. They're not gonna fucking give him another ranked fight. They're gonna
That
do
was-
what they always fucking
that's
do.
that-
They're gonna try to use his name and fucking build some other motherfucker up off.
That's the
Nobody wants to
epitome
do
of
that.
I'm blind, I'm deaf, I want to be a ref. That's what that boiled down to, because those motherfuckers didn't realize it's damage. And he did more damage in that fight. Oh,
Absolutely.
he got his fucking chin split open from a checked kick.
From something
Okay.
he checked. Yeah, that wasn't something he got hit with. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a checked kick. Then the fucking rocking that he put on Bonfim with those head kicks. Get the fuck out of here. He won that fight 100 times out of 100.
Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
honestly
He
surprised.
almost
I'm
had it
honestly
finished in
surprised
the
that they
second
let him keep
round.
going.
He had the old Nate Diaz situation. 10 more seconds and the fucking fight was over in that second round.
Yep.
Motherfuckers
for
on
sure.
goddamn skates got saved by the bell.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. But that being said, that is what we've got for this particular episode. So if you are new here, first and foremost, thank you for tuning in. We do this show pretty much every Thursday when there are fights to talk about. We try and go live around 9 p.m.-ish Central Standard Time here on youtube.com/@I'mNoJoe. If you miss us live, the replay does stay up here on YouTube for you to catch at your convenience. If you missed the replay on purpose, I understand, because we also own mirrors. And for that reason, the week after we go live, we put the all audio version of the show up over on anchor.fm/I'mNoJoe. You could pick it up to your podcast consumption platform of choice over there, Google, Spotify, Apple, you name it. It's all free. It's all linked right through there. Go ahead and check it out. If you like what we get up to, please make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed and your notifications are turned on wherever you're picking this up. Make sure you don't miss an episode. If you want to help us do what we do around here, the easiest way to do that, patreon.com/I'mNoJoe. For as little as $1 a month, as much as you are comfortable giving, every dollar helps us do what we do around here. And in exchange for your help with doing the things that we do around here, first and foremost, we put your name on the end of every broadcast on this channel so that everyone can know how fucking awesome you are in being a patron and helping us do what we do. But on top of that, we also, for contributing to us, give you unchecked and unrestricted access to all of the behind the scenes, the unaired and the unairable content. All of the shit that may or may not have gotten us kicked off of OnlyFans is available for all of our patrons to enjoy at their leisure, because we love you guys. That being said, the other side of that coin, if you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you doing this deep into a podcast you didn't enjoy? Give it a thumbs down and go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, when we wrap things up here at the end of Thursday night, that is not the end of the fun, because tomorrow morning, that gentleman, wait, no, he's over there. There he is. That gentleman and his other half dropped their podcast, the Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast, over there on Spreaker.com. Catch the link to their podcast, their social media, and their very own channel over on the I'm No Joe Discord server down in the description, no matter where you're picking this up. Go click it. Tell them how awesome they're doing.
Appreciate you, brother. The fun never fucking stops. Every fucking Wednesday, best day of the week, hump day. Brother Golf T Vapes has his own little show. If you're into the vapes, you want to learn some new mixes or recipes, you got to tune into the Foggy Fairway. Check out the brother's YouTube channel, Golf T Vapes. Everything that he does should be down in the description as well. Give the brother some love.
Is there, you like a fucking cheater? Okay, I'm over that. We're done. Just so long as you and Vinny don't have the same scores next week. If that happens again, I'm just saying, third time's a charm. Now, between now and next week, Thursday, there's a whole lot of time. There's 7 days with 24 hours apiece in them. That means you've got a lot of time that could be downtime. Maybe you're taking a day off and you need something to do. Well, Meter does many things, more than just this. So if you go down below, Linktree/The Meter does many things, Linktree/I'm No Joe, that will take you to each and every one of the many things that the Meter does do and help you fill in those time gaps when you can't figure out what you want to do. Do it. It's worth your while.
Thank you very much, sir. Always appreciated. That being said, that is all we have got for this particular episode. So we will see you again Saturday afternoon, an hour before prelims kick off, when me and this fellow, wait, over there, me and this fellow over here will be there for the pregame to get you hyped for all of the details coming up to 318 and any updates that happen between now and then. So until next time, boys and girls, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything, except the Epstein list being real, apparently.
frightening. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.